So some subjects may be better left unsaid, but sometimes you just have to put your point of view out. So here we go. Alright guys, welcome to Rolling with T-Bone. I'm T-Bone. I make motorcycle content. If you're old here, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome in. Liking the new concept, guys. Remember, I'm hoping this video will make it out before the drawing, but don't forget about the gloves, mask, and of course the liners drawing that we're going to be doing December the 18th. More on that here in just a bit. But today, guys, a subject came up. It wasn't today, but it came up the other day, and I thought I wasn't going to make this video about this, but I thought maybe I should, because it will kind of let you guys know where I'm at. And I never go political on here, so this is going to be a one-time fluke thing that happens, but I think it's kind of important. I think it kind of goes along with my overall message about life. Just enjoy living. This is not a dress rehearsal, guys. You only get one life. Live it. In the last two election cycles, I have taken myself out of the politic thing, out of the political thing. And one reason why, guys, my dad and my granddad were Republican, and the old guard used to have a saying, and my dad used to say it constantly. And I don't know, maybe your granddad or your dad used to say it, or your mom or your grandmother, but they would always say, if you don't want to lose friends, never discuss politics or religion, unless you really know the person you're talking to and you're for sure on the same page. And in my life, I had forgotten that advice, because what had happened to me, guys, is I had a brother in the lodge. Of course, I'm a Freemason. Everybody knows that. And during one of the election cycles here a few years ago, we were in lodge and we were talking about the election, and of course a lot of us there were happy that our candidate won. And guys, it was my fault, and I'm going to go ahead and take full responsibility for it, which I did at the time, but I didn't stop to think about his feelings about things or how he felt about things, and should have never went political, meaning I should have never went political. But we were just in a conversation, and I should have stopped, because what happened behind that political conversation was I ended up losing a friend and a brother in the lodge that I truly cared about. He was a dear friend, and I would have never in any way, shape, or form harmed him. And I had just forgot how serious that how serious he took politics. And I finally realized that it was me and Brother Dale Ray had talked about it, and I said, you know what, I was wrong. Not that I was apologizing for my stand or my politics or my political view. I felt bad and I was wrong, and you know, I tried to salvage the relationship. I called him a couple different times and we talked on the phone, and I just point blank told him, you know, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry if anything I said offended you or, you know, made you feel any certain way or any less, you know, if your feelings toward me changed. I am truly sorry. I want to be your friend. I miss the friendship. I miss having you in the lodge with us. And to this day, I do. And, you know, he was fine, sure, everything's forgiven, but I'm afraid that the friendship was repaired beyond, or destroyed beyond repair. Because he doesn't speak to me anymore. You know, a forced conversation if I see him in town. And in realizing it, what it should have been was okay, I'm sorry for what I did. I'm sorry for not taking your feelings into account, and I apologized. I took full responsibility for what had happened, and you know, it was just a terrible thing to happen, and I miss the man's friendship. We had actually gotten pretty close and became real good friends, and we were doing a lot of studying together in the lodge. And to this day, to this very day right now, I regret it. I regret that it happened. I regret the conversation happened. I regret that we were talking politics. I regret everything about it. But that's kind of where I want to go to in this video with you guys. And like I said, I don't do a lot of political content because I'm going to be honest with you, I've had political content that I have done in the past that has popped up in my memories on Facebook, and with the post that I did then, I could totally see how it could be offensive, how it could hurt somebody's feelings. And not that I'm going to ever apologize for my political view, because I'm not apologizing for who I am politically. I'm a conservative, and most likely, ladies and gentlemen, I will die a conservative, and I am not going to apologize for being a conservative. But you know, hurting his feelings and stuff like that, because what the overall tone of this video is, guys, is my question to you is, are we taking politics too seriously? Not that what we're voting on isn't serious, but I mean, you get in the news cycle, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, ABC, news, politics. And I know folks that live on a steady diet of that political stuff daily. They never turn it off. I mean, they're constantly afraid if they turn it off, they're going to miss something. And, you know, they're not going to any other source to get information. They're just taking everything that they're being told, whether it's Democrat or whether it's Republican, whatever news organization that you're taking in your information from. You're just getting a steady diet for that one side. You're not getting the whole political picture. And I really feel, guys, that if you're just getting a steady diet of one side, you're not getting the whole truth. And I just kind of unplugged. I was like, you know what, guys, life isn't a dress rehearsal. You know, when I think back to here a few months ago about Rush Limbaugh dying, of course I listened to Rush some on the radio. Never was a everyday kind of listener, but I listened to some of his stuff. But here was a guy who, once he became a political analyst and he devoted his life to that till the day he died, it was politics. And it was like, man, you really you put yourself in. My last episode I was talking about being put into a box and being put into a cage, and when you're so caught up in the political machine that you won't allow yourself to be friends with someone just simply because they do not have the same political views that you do, guys, that's scary. That is real scary. And I know back in the old days when my granddad was alive and my dad was alive, you know, they never discussed politics, and they never sat and watched a steady diet of political news. The only politics they wanted to know was the results after election day, and then politics never entered their mind again. But you know, I know people whose life is completely defined by politics, and I think about, you know, what are you missing out on because you're so political that you can't allow yourself to be friends with somebody. And in losing the friendship that I lost behind politics, I really started understanding what my dad and my granddad was talking about, because I'm sure if you came from the old school, if you're around my age, you heard it said, don't talk politics, don't talk religion, because that's the two quickest ways to lose a friendship or start a fight. And you know, I'll tell you, old Blue Moon sounds good, guys. Old 97 Dinah. But I never wanted to hurt his feelings, and I never ever wanted to lose his friendship. So now I just don't talk politics. I mean, I keep up with it enough to know what's going on, but I don't watch a whole lot of politics. I haven't turned on any news in so long I can't even remember when the last time it was. Mainly because when you get fed a steady diet of doom and gloom, and trust me, if you're sitting there and you're watching a steady diet of, I don't care what it is, Fox News, CNN, it don't matter what side of the political fence you're on, you're only getting a steady diet of that one side, and that really starts to mold your thinking and mold what you see, instead of another thing which I always say is investigate it for yourself. Don't just take somebody's word for something. You know, take a little time. Find out for yourself that if things are what they are. But you know, and that again, like I said, that it hurt my heart because I lost that friendship, I lost that relationship. And guys, when I tell you that I lost that friendship purely behind a political view, politics, that's the truth. There wasn't no underlying anything, because we all got along fine, and then, you know, that political rant, and I lost a dear friend behind it. And I got to tell you guys, it still hurts me bad today to think about it. It still, you know, it still makes my heart heavy to think that I hurt him so bad that he doesn't want to be my friend. And yeah, I moved on and I got over it, but it still bothers me. Of course, in the beginning it bothered me real bad because I couldn't understand what I had done. And then, you know, we got to talking about things, and then I started realizing, yeah, you know, I came on a little strong with my views, which if his candidate would have won, he would have came on strong with his views, because I've had Democrats who I'm friends with that have come on with their views strong to me, and I just kind of, you know, I understand that's how you feel. I understand that's what you believe. It's not what I believe, but you're my friend, so let's don't talk politics. But I really think that the world we live in today, where we're connected to everything 24/7. We really need to cut out this steady diet of CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, ABC. You know, just cut it off. Cut the noise off. I promise you, go outside, see what's going on in the world for yourself. Because I'll tell you guys, you can hear it all day long. Doom and doom and doom, 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 doom. And you walk outside and you start meeting people outside and you're riding around and you're like, well, yeah, but I'm not really seeing doom and gloom out here. I mean, people are laughing and getting along, and you know, the only time I see the doom and gloom is when I'm sitting in front of my TV watching a steady diet of it. And I'm gonna tell you something, guys. I've said this 100,000 times in different posts, and I'll say it in this video. When it comes to the news, if it bleeds, it leads. They almost hate it. They would almost rather just not even report no news than to report a feel-good story or something that could bring the country together, where everybody could say, oh, hey, you know, look at this great thing that happened, and isn't it cool that we're being told about it in the news? They would almost rather not even bring you no news than to bring you any kind of good news scenario where something good has happened. And that right there, just me saying that by itself is just a sad, sad thing to have to say. And I'm not making it up, guys. It's true. They would rather just not even bring you no news. Because anytime you watch the news, it's doom and gloom. It's the economy's crashing, or the president's doing this, or the president's not doing this. Why isn't he saying this? Why isn't he saying that? What are they trying to hide? And then you've got the House of Representatives that all they want to do is just hold hearings about stuff that don't even matter. And you know, you watch the steady diet of that, and eventually your views on things get jaded. And I just, you know, I really think it's sad, guys. I really do. It really hurts my heart, because I know if some of these folks who are living off of this steady diet of bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news, could just kind of get out and enjoy life a little bit. Enjoy, you know, go to the park. If you ride a bicycle, ride a bicycle. If you ride a motorcycle, ride your motorcycle. Let the world do its own turning. You know, that's a very old saying right there. That came from the 1800s. Just, you know what? You can't fix everything in the world. And you sitting there getting a steady diet of it when you can't fix it, and not being friends with people, that's just awful. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, my dad, and I know some of the family members don't know this, but years ago, I used to be able to go into the voting booth with my dad and mark his choices. In the general election, my dad did not always vote along party lines, and he did not always vote Republican. George Inslee was his favorite sheriff, and I think the world of George. George is a great guy, but George is a Democrat. He's not a Republican. And my dad was a Republican, but he did not always vote along party lines. And he would say it, hey, you know, vote for the person you think is worth it. Vote for the person that you think is going to do a good job. And then if they lie to you and they don't do what they say they're going to do, in 4 years, you know what you can do? You vote them out and vote somebody else in. But, man, road work and Copper Hill. But, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Alright, guys. But, yeah, I mean, you know, a steady diet of anything, political, anything, I mean, it's just not healthy. You know, and I tell you something, guys, you think about this politics thing. the one thing that has become kind of universally accepted for me, that all the way across the board, is that these politicians have forgotten that they work for us. We're not working for them. This isn't a democratic situation. We're a republic. And somewhere along the lines that's been forgotten, is that we are a republic and not a democracy. But nonetheless, guys, I tell you, I just wanted to kind of get on here and discuss that just a little bit. Probably won't do no more political posts, but the main thing to take away from this episode of Rolling with T-Bone is this isn't a dress rehearsal. You only get one chance to live this life. You know, and life is too short to live it on the basis of a political party or what they think you should be. You know, enjoy your life, and don't let that potentially kill a friendship. You know, and like I said, that's probably one of the hardest things that I have to take away from that and this video, is that I lost that friendship, like I said. But you know, things happen, and of course you live and you learn. And the great thing about making mistakes is everybody makes mistakes, guys. We all do. You hope that it's not a life-altering mistake, and you hope that what you take away from the mistake is that, you know, you learn a life lesson from it. And I've always said it, people who've known me for years, well, you've heard me say some of life's best lessons are learned the hard way. And, you know, unfortunately, that's a true statement. But turn off that steady diet that you've got going and get out and enjoy living. Enjoy your life. Forget about the doom and gloom for a little while. I mean, unplug from all that. I promise you, you'll be happier if you did. I'm happier because I'm not watching it. And I've got better things to do with my time than to sit around and watch the news all day long and get a steady diet of bleeding and leading. But, all right, guys, don't forget now, December the 18th, we're going to be doing the drawing for the gauntlet gloves, the liners, and the face mask. I still haven't set the time in stone yet. I'm thinking it's probably going to be sometime in the early afternoon. But remember what you've got to do to win, guys. You've got to like that video, share that video, and when you share it, hashtag the video ball hootin', then come back to that video and put done, D-U-N-N, my last name. You've only got till December the 18th, and guys, the winner will be announced on Facebook Live, hopefully, if everything goes good. If not, it'll be announced. But that is the week of Christmas coming up, so if you win, we'll have to get you set up where you can come down to Ball Hootin' and get with Gail and pick up your prizes. But tell you what, guys, I hope you're just enjoying life, guys. I hope you're enjoying things that you're living. Just do that, because like I said, I'll say it one more time, this life is not a dress rehearsal. Live it. Love it. And watch T-Bone do content. But I'll tell you what, guys, I'm going to get off here. I believe that's going to bring this video to an end. I've kind of enjoyed this. Like I said, I don't do no politics no more. I just kind of wanted to get my feelings out about the whole political thing. But guys, that's this episode of Rolling with T-Bone. And as always, I am T-Bone, rolling down the road on the Blue Moon. Until the next time, you guys take care of yourself.